Hey, welcome back to Sober Now. I'm Jim LaPierre, and today's kind of a fun topic. It's the difference between what you say and what your therapist hears. I've been joking for years now. Google has this really cool app that translates languages, and all you have to do is speak into it, and it'll translate to the language you want it to. So I've been joking that I'm going to create an app that translates codependency, that translates active addiction, early recovery, different forms of mental illness. And it's kind of funny to me because what I know from experience is that oftentimes what we're really doing with language is manipulating ourselves and hiding our vulnerability. Those are the two biggest things. And the worst part is we do that on a purely subconscious level. It's not our intention, of course, to be less than honest with ourselves. It's just part and parcel to addictive thinking and how the addictive brain operates. It's part and parcel to being a survivor of trauma, to living with anxiety, and sometimes even living with depression leaves us being less than honest with ourselves. What I notice is I can, for example, convince myself of 100 compelling reasons why I shouldn't do the thing that I'm uncomfortable with or the thing that I'm afraid of. And I do that in a split second. I do it through rationalizing, justifying, and minimizing. But what I've learned is those are all nice words that a therapist would use. And what they really mean is I'm lying to myself. So when I work with folks who are in early recovery, I've learned that subtlety is really a disservice to them. I need to say things in no uncertain terms, and I need to really confront and challenge maybe some ideas that they've convinced themselves of, or some half-assed plans that they've made that clearly are not going to work. And when I was new in my career, I would do that very gently, and I would allude to things, and I would say, I think maybe you're being less than honest with yourself. And today I'm a lot more direct. I look people in the eye and say, okay, I think you're completely full of shit. And it took a lot of growth, actually, for me to get to a place where I can challenge folks like that. But what I've learned is when we're being less than honest with ourselves, there's a fear we don't want to face, there's pain that we're trying to avoid, or there's an emotion that we're uncomfortable with. So, for example, a lot of us are actually really uncomfortable expressing anger. So what do? We water it down. We don't say that we're angry. We say we're annoyed, we're irritated, we're frustrated. The ones that I really hate, I'm just being pissy or I'm just being bitchy. And we tend to water down the significance of what we're up against, what we're feeling, because we're uncomfortable simply saying things overtly and directly, owning our struggles and owning how it is that we feel. This, of course, is simply how we were raised. We learned from a young age to hide emotion, to not express things that we need, to not want or hope for things or ask for things. And so what we're doing at this juncture is really not comfortable to simply come right out and say, here's my experience, here's the support that I need, here's what I'm asking you for. When it comes to even things like therapy, we don't have an on and off switch for how we express ourselves. So how we talk to our therapist is usually how we talk to most people. So again, sometimes I need to translate, here's what you're saying, but here's what I'm hearing. And when I'm really on my A game, I'm using a lot of active listening skills, and these are things that all of us know how to do. But as the adage goes, too many of us don't listen to understand, we listen to respond. So when I'm listening to understand, I'm noticing things like whether or not your facial expression matches up to what you're saying. Are your eyes telling me the same thing that your words are? Is your body language consistent with what you're saying? Sometimes it's almost comical. I've had people yell at me. I'm not angry. I've had folks that insist that they're not afraid even when their body is screaming to me that they are. And so hopefully what we're working towards is being on the same page with ourselves And in order to do that, we need to have mindfulness, we need to have introspection, and we need to have rigorous honesty. And one of the biggest challenges with being really mindful is we notice more. If we're rigorously honest, okay, now I have a sense of what's going on with me, what is it I feel, what is it I need. And the mistake that a lot of us make is instead of simply getting on the same page with ourselves, we immediately jump to, okay, if I think this and I feel this, then what do I have to do? And what I have to do is always an external action that most commonly involves other people. If that external action or interaction with others is something that I see as uncomfortable, then oftentimes what I'll do, and again, we do this on a purely subconscious level, is tell ourselves that we must be wrong. We wrestle with some self-doubt. We fault ourselves for feeling this way. We very readily minimize the whole mess or simply avoid it. So ideally, instead of jumping to what is the action I have to take, I can simply be honest with myself. I can engage in some introspection and get a sense of what it is that I'm feeling, what it is that I need. And then I can utilize people who support me for what a therapist would call a reality check. So I'm just going to go to someone that I know supports me. I'm going to share with them very candidly what it is I'm thinking and where it is that I'm conflicted. I'm not going to wait until I have it all figured out, because I never have it all figured out. I'm going to let someone help me sort through that. And then, after I'm on the same page with myself, maybe there is some change that I need to make. Maybe there is an interaction that I need to have, and maybe that's going to be uncomfortable. But instead of just jumping to that action, that interaction that I believe I need to have, I'm just going to get on the same page with me. I've yet to find anything in this world worth lying to myself about. I know that avoiding my fears culminates in anxiety, culminates in problems getting bigger. So, mindfulness is paying attention to yourself. Introspection is taking stock of how you're feeling, what hurts, what's the fear. Putting things into action. Okay, sometimes it's going to be really clear what that action is. Sometimes it's going to be something you're not ready for. We have a tendency to white knuckle our way through fear. I want to encourage you that if you're using a counselor, a coach, or a therapist, please have an awareness that that interaction, of course, we all know is confidential, but notice when you're being less than forthcoming, notice when you're holding back how you feel, and give yourself permission to use that relationship, to use that space in a far healthier and productive way. So, if you like the video, please hit that subscribe button. Please share it with friends and family. Please email me, jim@sobernow.com. Love to get some more topic suggestions and questions. Please take excellent care of yourself, and I'll see you soon.